Hello, I'm Dr. Barbara Russell, Superintendent of the Perkiomen Valley School District, and I am here with Mr. Ryan Marsh, Blue House Principal at our high school. And we are producing another video to extend that conversation we initiated and introduced to you last week around vaping. This week's video will introduce you to some of the actual vaping devices that have been confiscated from our students. You'll see a variety of gadgets here or devices. Mr. Marsh will explain how some of them work. And hopefully you'll leave feeling better informed. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Marsh?
Thank you, Dr. Russell. Thank you, everyone, for viewing this video. We really appreciate the feedback from last week's video and look to continue to do this. As Dr. Russell said, my purpose today in today's video is to show you these examples. We're going to start, as a preview, we'll start with what we believe, many believe or see as traditional marijuana. And then we'll talk about vapes as they relate to tobacco, and then cartridges as they relate to THC and marijuana as I move across the table and show you some of the items that are laid out here in front of me. To start with vocabulary, generally speaking, vapes refer to tobacco. Carts or cartridges refer to THC. And I'll show you an example in a few minutes of the cartridges and the type of cartridges that are making our kids sick. So that is a general term to use, and I'll use those terms appropriately as I go across and explain. So traditionally, marijuana, and this is in the form of a blunt, would be smoked. And this is what one would call a blunt, and it would be smoked. They are rolled in papers like this that can be bought at any convenience store, and the contents in the center are what would be referred to as leaf marijuana. Some kids call it flower or green. So that is traditional marijuana. Coming across, these in front of me are vapes, and they are tobacco. Again, vape generally referring to tobacco. Some of these are disposable, like this one, and this one, this one. And some you can recharge, like these three here in front of me. Okay? So by disposable, what we're saying is that the battery is encased in here. There's a set amount of tobacco juice in there. The juice, and I'll show you how this particular type works. The juice looks something like this, is then inhaled, and it's called a static delivery because there's no button to push or anything like that. Once this is through with its tobacco or the juice, then this is thrown away. These, okay, well, this one is a rechargeable and has a pop-out piece on the top, which I won't pop out now, but has a pop-out piece on the top that can be changed out. And these are pretty common, and you can see these behind the store or behind the counter at convenience stores. These have the juice for the tobacco would be here, and then it's inserted here. These are also static, and they do recharge. Moving into this area of the table, we have things that could go either way with tobacco or marijuana. This is a name brand tobacco vape. Okay. However, we have had experiences at the high school where these can be traded out, and this looks just the same. Okay, so you have the tobacco coming out, and then a very similar with THC in it. Okay, so that can go either way. It may have a name brand on it. We'll talk about testing the juice in a few minutes, but they can be interchanged. So those can go either way, a little more tricky to discern. Here, these again could go either way. These are tobacco vapes in front of you, and these can be filled with the tobacco juice. Most of these are straight tobacco. We have had a rare THC mix in there, but that's a little more involved for students to get it in that form. But we do have those, and again, they would take off the top and pour in the juice. Okay, so that continuum across. Now, what is making our kids sick, and what we really want to make sure everybody understands, is when we talk about a cart or a cartridge, we are talking about this. Okay, now this is empty, but this was a THC cartridge that had marijuana, and it also was laced with amphetamine. This is what's making our kids sick. If you see something like this is a large size, 1,000 milligrams. They also come in 500 milligrams, about that size. If you see these, That's an area of concern right out of the right off the bat. So how these work are, okay, this is called a pen, all right, and this has a universal screw top on it, okay. It would just be screwed in like that. The general rule for these, you may not be able to see it, but there's a button here. The general rule for these is 5 times quickly turns it on, 5 times quickly turns it off, okay. Once they turn it on and then hit the button, it is now being heated. The THC juice is now being heated and turning into vaporized form, and they inhale it through this end, okay. This can be, again, a lookalike. This can be exchanged for a tobacco piece as well, okay. So one of the things to look for is, does this have a removable top to it, and does it have that universal screw in, okay. That makes these more versatile. Now, this is another type of battery, okay, that can be used. This again, and I'll demonstrate for you, is there's no charge here. So right now, this one is turned on 5 times to turn it off. You see the lights flashing. And if I go to turn it back on, okay. Now these particular ones sometimes come with an adapter that gets screwed on to the end with that universal feature, and then they get dropped in. There's a magnetic piece down there that seals it in, and then they just simply hit this button. The number of lights indicated tells you the temperature, increasing in temperature. So 1 is a lower temperature than that, heating the juice again, delivery through inhaling, okay? And again, this is the delivery mechanism or the battery. This is the actual cartridge, okay? Now, these come in and are shipped in, and to show you a little bit, these then are coming to us, or coming to individuals. This is actually, if we were in the state of California and you were over 18, would be legal to possess and use. This has on it written the California Marijuana Company. This was ordered and delivered over the internet here in Pennsylvania. So when you see boxes like this does clearly say it's, the name Napalm OG, it's indica, it has the California symbol on there. That is something to be looking for, or from any other states where it is fully legal. When they open this, take off the top, what is in there is a plastic container, and then this sits in that plastic container. These are not from the same set, so they may not match perfectly, but that's how that works, okay? And then to show you, this is another example of a universal battery that's used for THC, 5 times on, 5 times off. This is also called a pen, I believe, okay? And then this is a THC vape, all right? So you can see the similarities between this and this, okay? This one is clearly marked with the marijuana leaves on it. Not all of them are, all right? So if you come across something like this in your home and you're not sure what it is, we at the high school use test kits. You can purchase these test kits. I don't know the price because we get them at a reduced rate, but you can order these. This one is designed strictly to test the juice, not the individual, to test the juice for marijuana. This one would test for amphetamine. Okay, so you can see those. And again, if you come across a cart, you test it by this top screws off. So this would screw off. You would have to get some of the juice. We recommend you wear gloves to do this. I'm not wearing them now because this is empty, and I'm not taking it apart. But you would then pour it into a little baggie that's in there. There's an element that you put in that causes the chemical reaction. It gets shaken, and then you get a color coding that will tell you pretty accurately the contents of. It won't give you percentage breakdowns, only the depth of the color gives you a sense. So again, moms and dads, this is what you're looking for, and these are the ways you can test it. And these are some of the examples. So we really do appreciate you watching this video. Next week, look forward to bringing you more information, and certainly any questions that you may have on what was shared today, we'd greatly appreciate. This is by no way a comprehensive listing of what is there, comprehensive examples of what is out there.
Thank you, Mr. Marsh.
Thank you.
And as Mr. Marsh said, we want to continue to inform you, so we will continue this series of videos. We were really pleased to see how many people viewed the first video produced last week. We want to continue to inform you and work towards putting our students on a healthy path if they are not right now. So look for additional videos. Feel free to post questions to Mr. Marsh or I, and thank you once again for tuning in.